What is going on, people out there on the internet? Ryan Baggett here. I am the host of the ChatBot podcast, and wow, do we have a very special episode for you guys in store. We have an extremely special guest, one of my very good friends, close collaborators, partners on many journeys and bot ventures by now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you today the one and only Vince VG Wicker. What is going on, man? Great to have you here.
Brian, great to be here.
Man,
pretty interesting. Episode 2, I didn't make episode 1, so I'm here for episode 2.
You, my friend, are a busy guy. I'm glad that you were able to pencil me in, man. You got a lot of projects going on, and I want first you to tell the audience who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, most of the people that do know me, either automation or what I've been doing with chatbots across different platforms with AI, automation and chatbots, and really trying to help people do a lot of really cool things with chatbots, keeping it simple but still sort of delighting customers and really making them extraordinarily happy to use a platform and not just burned out with spam. So my goal has always been just to have fun and make sure that people that interact with the stuff I build, or the clients that build the stuff that I work with, that consumers ultimately consume, that they have fun. So that's what I've been working on. So I've been working on some really cool projects, and there's some really cool stuff happening out in the space and how everything meshes together. And that's what I'm hoping to share with some of the viewers today, about some cool things they could be doing to really get the most out of their chatbots and not be afraid to color outside the lines.
Totally, and that is one of the reasons I'm most excited to have you on the show, is because when you say there are really cool things happening in this chatbot space, I couldn't agree more. And I think it's people like you, it's people like Rupert and Kelly and Jackson and all these guys, Leon, who was on the show last night, obviously, AJ, all these guys, they are doing some very cool things themselves. And although I tend to try to be friends with pretty much everyone in this space, some people are more about showing off their work and the cool things that they're doing than others. And I think that we forget that, because you and I, we know a lot of people, this is a small niche industry right now of bot building folks. And so while you and I might see a lot of things, the majority of people who have regular lives and regular things to do all day, they don't know all this stuff. So you continually and I mean consistently blow people's minds. Tell the audience, what's one of the more advanced full automation systems you've put together, because it's far more than just Facebook Messenger bots, right?
Right. So one of the things that really is important that you have to understand about chatbots is that we have to measure everything that happens in a chatbot. When you start running a chatbot at volume, you just can't depend upon a lot of the chatbot metrics. You have to kind of come up with the kind of metrics that you need, but you kind of need them to really help your customers. And so some of the most advanced stuff that we've been really doing has been about analytics, using AI, analytics, and some really cool integration to really delight it. So I guess maybe about 8 months ago, we worked with one company who was doing a lot of things around customized products. And so we did everything from APIs to load up a big e-commerce website, to actually running AI to stop any bottlenecks in the onboarding and e-commerce process, all the way down to actually tracking, almost like you'll see in Google Analytics, where all the steps in a particular web journey, we are tracking where people are dropping off and using AI to improve those data points. So we try to do everything just to make sure the whole journey is best, and we let numbers drive everything.
Totally. And, I just, splashed on the screen right there. Again, shout out to Stephanie Liu, social media strategist. She's awesome. She hooked me up with this streaming platform we're on today. It's called Restream. I'll be sure to link you guys so you can take advantage of this cool new tech here as well. I'll say this, with what we've had going on this year with the health crisis.
Hmm.
I know it's an obvious truth here that it's helped in general the digital space. Has it affected you in a positive, negative, not at all kind of way as far as what you've been building?
It's actually helped me a little bit more than I thought it would be. I mean, on a
Totally,
building and
totally.
on personal level, some projects I was able to work on, I was able to work on with one of my sons. We were able to spend more time together because he was trapped in the house with me. And we came up with some really cool things actually to help a lot of chatbot builders with data manipulation and exports. He taught himself how to program, and we worked on some really cool stuff. But the other part about it is that, we sat down and we were able to actually look at what COVID did in terms of pushing everybody to use mobile phones, to go contactless, to do amazing things with and help people take advantage of this technology in a way that they hadn't before because they really hadn't had the time to think about it. I think there's still money left on the table
Hmm.
in this space just because I think most people ran and loaded up a website on their phone. And when you go try to read a website and you get older like me,
Come on.
no, but when you hold up a phone, you can't see somebody's small rendered website. You want to have something that a whole company, $100 billion company has built,
Hmm.
for mobile consumption. And that's what Messenger and chatbots have really done. And the
Totally.
people are shortchanging that in a million different ways. And as soon as you compare the
1,000%.
two mediums, everything really wins, and the chatbot wins every time.
Totally. And, I don't know if you want to drop names, but, you and I have had countless of late night conversations about this and that, and you've helped me solve about a bajillion problems. I think the only person probably that's helped me solve more problems than Mr. Vince, VG Wicker here. And we got some people joining in. So what's up, folks,
Hmm.
that are joining in? I think the only person that's helped me more is probably Kelly with her videos because she got me started. And then I guess maybe Say who only small circles know this guy. He is that presence on the internet that is, I guess, talked about, and it's like, is it real? Say it's real, and he's probably the smartest I've met, but he's not available to help with actual real world problems because he's building whatever it is he's building. You, my friend, you've worked with some of the largest companies that I've ever even heard of. From our conversations, you have a very impressive resume, and so you're very modest, right? I'm going to pump you up because you are the AI automation guy. If you want to mention to anyone that might be listening that really is on the fence about who or what the next step in their marketing is going to be, but they know it should be automation. If you were going to just appease someone, and be like, yeah, listen, I am your guy because you're so good at that. Whenever I have my doubts, you just they disappear after one conversation. It might take 2 hours, but the doubts are
Yes.
gone after that.
So is the question you're asking is like, are people questioning whether or not they should stick around in this space, or are they questioning what they want to do next in this space?
There's so many novice beginner bot builders out there that this is a new space that I think that there are not enough role models like a Kelly to really show them, okay, this person is legit. This person's really doing something big here. This person's someone who I could follow the footsteps, maybe follow their path, because that's a really cool path in this direction. There's not that many people in the space that are leaders that I can see. I've been looking. I don't find them. I think you're one of those leaders, and you have the resume to back it up. So it, here's a really direct question. The project in your professional career that you're most proud of in the space of tech, automation, social media, what do you think that looks like? That you've accomplished this so far? Your favorite project, maybe?
Well, the two that I'm actually very proud of is
Yeah.
the work that we did with building. One of the things I had wrestled with for 2 years in chatbots was really how to build an e-commerce concept bot. Now, other people have done, taken it and run with it and gone decades, but excuse me, decades ahead of me. Just they just move really fast.
Hmm.
But conceptually, when you build a messenger bot,
Hmm.
people think of a messenger bot as just being this thing that a person has a conversation with, and it kind of walks you through this path. When
Totally.
you think about e-commerce, you have to think about things totally different, and it took a lot of walks and and whiteboards and conversations with people, but to realize that in working with e-commerce clients, but to realize that you have a bot, but that you have a customer part of the bot, you have a cart part of the bot, and you have all these other things that if you use Google Sheets, those may be different tabs in a sheet. If you use a database, those may be different tables in a database. Once you understand how that it's not that hard to break apart into atomic
Mm.
units, the parts of the bot and have them work with one another and how some databases work. Uh, that was a part that really took me and how things work and how chatbots can work with other solutions. I mean, because it's really hard to really come up with that concept.
And
Um,
then I think it's fair to say when you realize that you took it to the next level.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I do that, and that is
Next level
whenever
bots.
it's
That is
shameless
totally
plug.
a
Yeah,
plug. There
we
you
have a,
go. Thank you.
we had actually this came out of a conversation that you and I had one night. We have a small Facebook group called Next Level Bots, where I
Mm.
grew sick of people just coming in and just trying to sell me something. I would like to go in and help people, and that's one of the things I'm guilty of, spending time helping people. So I figured if people want to do something a little bit more advanced, but and they're not ready to pay for a course, or they want to do something fun, and I'm always game for something fun. Let's pick something that somebody wants to build or want to know, and we'll just build it right there live, and
Totally.
everybody can
This
watch.
guy, guys, this guy will never turn down a challenge. He's so downplaying the genius about this guy's the bot doctor. I mean, in the
It's
mini
an
chat
obsession.
group.
It's an upset. It's a problem closure obsession that I'll probably need years of therapy to unwind. Right,
I
but
hear you.
at the end of the day, there is no substitute for looking at the problem and trying to solve it. And one of the things that I'm finding in most of these forums and internet forums, Facebook groups, and everything, if you take yourself down a path, this is an advice I'll give to people out there. If you spend the time searching a Facebook group for answers to a question, if you spend your time to tell the group that I've taken it to this point, I've done this work, can you help me? People will help you. Sometimes you think something's proprietary, nothing massively proprietary. It's down to execution. But I think at the end of the day, if you show your work and you want to work with people, people will be so happy to help you and work along with things, and not just say, I can't do this. Will somebody do it for me? You're not going to get any responses, and you're going to think that the community is cold and selfless. But if you contribute, if you help, it's one of the neatest things you can possibly do. And I've actually learned more by just putting out valuable answers to people
There you go.
than because sometimes I want to solve a problem.
Hmm.
And I would recommend, besides my group, the Integromat group.
And I wanted to hit on Integromat because you schooled me on Integromat back, I guess back in February maybe. You're like, man, you're using that. You need to get on this. And I was like, well, I think I'll listen to the bot doctor, and I love Integromat.
Right, and it's actually it works. I guess the point about it, look, besides being a product that is really
Hmm.
good and as reliable as any other sort of cloud-based product, um, it's very it draws the picture of your integration. It does a really great job at that. It can get complicated if you want to, or simple if you need it to be. But what it does is that community, if you show the work, you ask the questions, they will help you down to solving a problem for you and just sending you a screen print or the text you need to paste right into your program to move on. And I think that, was what really got me moving along. When I started building bots, I started using ChatFuel. And, that platform has just kept progressing, and it's still progressing today. I think a couple weeks ago they released a nice flow builder looks pretty,
Oh, that.
looks pretty, it looks pretty good. But that community was extraordinarily advanced, and for when I started, for me,
I think that's key. Is when you started. They're advanced when you started, but I,
but
I
they
just
still
have
probably, there's still a lot of heavy developers who are doing PHP programmers in there.
got you. So maybe I've never. I have a Chat Fuel account. I don't even know. Like, so when you just mentioned that they didn't have a flow builder, and that's how I've typically liked to build my chatbot automations with a flow builder, and they didn't have one, and so I was like, I don't know what to do here. And then I joined the group, and I hope, who knows, I almost accept nearly everyone on my Facebook friends list, right? So it's possible one of those guys that work at Chatfuel are on my friends list. It's possible they're watching right now. If so, what up? I have no idea how to use your platform. And the group that you're in, you're so far behind. Guys, Chatfuel guys, you guys are far behind two of the platforms I use. Okay, MiniChat and Silverbots, by far the best in my opinion.
No, but I would say
I,
that
the people using that platform may be of a higher skill base than the typical MiniChat user. That I could totally agree with, because if you joined, they're the first, right? If I'm not mistaken, they were the first. Chatfuel was like the first main one, right?
I think both of them. It's funny, both of them came out, yeah, at about the same time that I remember, and I
Mm-hmm.
used both of them. And I used both of them, and then from a marketer's point of view, I was really just trying to figure out how these bots work, and they actually had a very blocky way of thinking, and it helped me actually, understand it more logically.
Totally,
And
totally.
then I went to MiniChat, and it's like all these flows all over the page. I couldn't understand. And then I decided I backed off for a bit, and then I came back in to look at MiniChat, and then I just, you know, this is what I would, and this is what I would recommend anyone to do: build a bot, make something work, make the basic thing work, make the next basic thing work. And where you're probably going to run into a roadblock is when you start interacting with other systems. And sometimes it's going to be a lot of the built-in stuff, and a lot of it's going to be maybe an API or doing something else, or even something else like what ManyChat rolled out, which I think is an innovation in the space, the ManyChat apps. I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at any of those ManyChat apps, including the one that the three that we rolled out.
Three of them, y'all.
Three,
This guy,
one, two, three.
three. How many apps are there? Like four apps?
No, I think.
Just kidding.
Well, I think they're rolling out faster and heavier, but which is really
Of
cool.
course, you're going to be one of the first people to roll out a MiniChat. I mean, obviously, you're going to be one of the first.
Really great development support group.
Totally. They have a great team over there that I've dealt with personally. I've never been on a MiniChat video, which that could be fun. If anyone knows someone at MiniChat, tell them I want to be on a video. That'd be fun. But I'll tell you this: their support is awesome. They have a huge team to take care of the needs of their community. They have 80,000 people, 90,000 people in the one community. 500 in the secret community we're in for MiniChat. What is it called? The the advanced. Early access. Yeah, man, I felt like a VIP the day I got involved with that group. I was like, oh, look at all these cool people here, man. And I have a specific question for you. And
I was waiting for it.
It's coming because I'm going to set you up for success, baby. This guy is going to blow you away with his knowledge. I'm going to force him to, and he's not going to give you away. Let me zoom in on myself. He ain't giving you away his secrets, obviously, but he will always help you. And if you have enough money behind that checkbook, he'll help you really far. I know from experience, this guy will do an amazing job. But I want to say, in our space, it's difficult to find sources that you can trust that don't want to just kill your wallet. And the day that I realized VG, as he's known around in the groups, VG was just on another level, totally next level bot, totally next level marketer, coder, whatever, is when he was schooling me about something my father schooled me on. I thought my dad was like the biggest nerd, because when I was in social media, he was doing database stuff. Database to me, when I was 20 years old, so boring. What do you want to? Who cares about numbers and letters in a table, Dad? Lame. That's 20-year-old Ryan. 30-year-old Ryan, Dad, I need some help. And so VG, far the most advanced database guy I know. What is the difference? Right, I got it even ready for you. What is the difference? Okay, specifically in chatbots, and I think that there'll be people out there that will get value out of this. What's the difference in your mind between spreadsheets versus a real database?
I think if you look at it on a continuum, um, if you look at it on a continuum, if you have small numbers, you're probably not going to see a difference. The setup cost, the setup time in terms of cost, everything is relatively
About the same, right?
costless at this point. If you're talking about three or four things, sometimes a spreadsheet is a sheet just to do a calculation, or if I have four numbers, there's no reason for me to spin up a whole database if I'm just looking up which day of the week it is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking getting bigger and bigger data sets, when you're talking about querying data at speed, and when you're talking about running a bot that has thousands of users hitting everything at once, many times you're not going to be able to support it in a Google Sheet, a spreadsheet, on account
Right.
of the straight API will just cripple it, right? And
Totally.
then, if you have your database going, you could do some really amazing things that you're not able to do out of the gate in spreadsheet with a lot of acrobatics. And so,
Yep.
when it gets to a certain size, like we built something called Taste Local Rhode Island. It was a directory of every restaurant in every major restaurant in Rhode Island. We had about 550 restaurants in that database. You were able to search by name of the restaurant or type of the restaurant and bring up the images and bring it up in a dynamic gallery. And, I chose not to use bot sheets for the simple purpose of I didn't know what I wanted, and I wanted to be able to kind of push it a little bit. And we were able to do a lot with the database very fast. And what made it even better is that I was able to scale it by just adding an ID for every person. So not only could I run my directory, I was able to run 5 states in the directory. And so I knew when somebody came in, or another 3 businesses in that same database, by just using a simple query key. And I view databases at that scale, spreadsheets at that scale, to be too brittle to really continue. But that's why I use a lot more APIs and databases, and Google Sheets just become a big fat pain in the butt, replacing and updating and getting the hang of things. But I would say that a Google Sheet, if you really want to use Google Sheets and understand how they work, and unless you have just something simple going in, you can use some of the native ManyChat work. But I think you can use something like Integromat, and you can get more bang for your buck out of your Google Sheet activities than you can through ManyChat. And a lot of people pride themselves by saying, well, I'm going to use everything and I'm not going to use any other external system. That may be great, and that's going to save you some money and save you some time. But I would never shirk on the opportunity to use something external, because you're ultimately going to have to do that. I don't think there's any way to delight your customers without doing that.
You nailed it 1,000%. And now you're talking language that you and I, nowadays at least, since you schooled me, we can talk about APIs and we can talk about databases. But let me tell you something. First, starting out, chatbot Ryan, you talking about an API to me? I'm gonna say, huh? AP who? API me? What is that? And then the database thing again. To me, that was like boring information in like a broken down Excel. I knew what Excel was, but like it was just so not interesting to me. All I wanted to do was shoot video, take photos, write copy, run social, learn ads, sell things, blah 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 blah. That's what I like to do, and it was great and it was fun. Now again, I digress. I'm telling you, databases, guys. You cannot rely at scale by any means, just as he said. I'm going to zoom in on my face because you have to hear this from me. Take it from someone who literally lived this. You cannot run at scale a business of any means, especially a chatbot business, with Google Sheets as your end all be all. You can't do it. Starting out, sure. Getting basic information, sure. Do I want to create a database to show necessarily the loyalty points of a customer when I could technically solve that in a much easier way? Google Sheets being a perfect example. If I wanted to track how many times a user walked into the restaurant or purchased this item, maybe a spreadsheet could do it for one location. But the moment you actually start making money and getting big in this space at scale, and you have multiple locations, take it from me, guys. Google spreadsheet says, I love Google. It ain't going to work. And you got to take it from a guy like Vince, a smart guy, a real OG who understands what a database is. If you don't know what a database is, I'll promise you, if you hit this guy up, he'll school you. He's schooled me. I've learned so much from you. And again, I don't want to say publicly, thank you, Vince, for all the things that you.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say you're welcome, but let me just explain to anybody thinking that's kind of like a creepy, super data bits and bytes thing. You don't have to get there right away. You're just going to naturally, you're going to hit a wall. And I just understand that when you hit that wall, because you're going to have to get there, you're just not going to be, trust me, let me go spin up a database right now. I think you'll know that there's a place you can go to solve some problems. And that's why we have this next level bots, messenger bots group. That's why, we're out there answering questions. So, sometimes when people ask questions, I just say, just give me a call and we'll just talk it through, because some things I can't answer on my phone, right? Just, in a text and a comment bubble. It looks like a manifesto. But I think when it comes down to it, you're going to need to use the technology around you to do it. And let me say, databases aren't that expensive anymore. If you have a website, you probably have like a hosting provider like GoDaddy or something like that who has a MySQL database, or if you use Google or any of the Google products, you can get a database there for, I don't know, a couple pennies or something like that. The same with Amazon. And it is crazy simple to connect some of that stuff in. And, it's not something that people teach every day. And it's not something that I'm going to say that I'm going to have a course on, because it's not really, it's just, you need to decide what you want to happen and just make it happen and don't dismiss it.
I couldn't agree more, man. And I'll tell you what, we've talked about some next level stuff today. And I think that I'm going to have to make you, if my bank account will allow, if I can afford you, I would love to have you as a reoccurring guest on the official. Yes, the trademark is pending, along with a bunch of other stuff I got going on pending right now. And when they're official, I'll let you know. But this one, I wanted to drop it. Yes, I'm trademarking the chatbotpodcast.com, so don't try me. I want to have Vince on all the time because he's so much more next level than me. I stepped away, actually, from doing the majority of my automation work with ManyChat and Google Sheets because of scale and different things. And then I moved to another platform, which was awesome. It's great. But still, for me, I'm so niched. I'm so focused on trying to solve the problems for the restaurant industry, not restaurants, but the whole industry. Me and Vince have talked about this. That's my stickers going on every table here. And to do that, I had to create and have developed my own platform, which have you tried Tap the Table yet, Vince? Have you seen it?
Yes, I have. And I think that in this grand scheme of things, the things about that make messenger bots work, the things that make them really work is simplicity.
Yes.
And I think,
yes.
And simplicity, the funny thing about simplicity is simplicity doesn't mean that it's like, mittens and thumbs, walking around like nothing. Simplicity means that a lot of that complexity, a lot of that database work is buried behind the scenes. So
Totally.
Your end user doesn't have to worry about it. And when you're talking about the niche that Tap the Table is really approaching, it's about what I've seen, because I've talked to a lot of restaurateurs looking at it. These are people running a multi-pronged business.
Yes,
I
exactly.
mean, it's hard enough. A multi-pronged business is hard enough for a single person, a
Mhm.
single restaurant under one roof. Now you're talking about people running restaurant groups and having to manage
Mhm.
front office, marketing, back office. You know, your staff ordering, food ordering, and costs and managing all that. They're trying to do so much. They want something that is very easy to consume, easy to
Mhm.
use, and easy to bring up their staff on who are transient, right? They're not like all there and to do it. And like so far, this is one of my entrepreneur professors in college, and it was the class was called Failure 101.
Oh my gosh, I would
And
ace that class.
and
I love that.
one of the things you've got to be your own best or worst, however you want to look at it, competitor, because if you don't, somebody else will. What you've committed to do in this
Yes.
industry is, you know, really run after any of the sacred cows of making it like a secret thing that nobody else can do. You're giving the solution out as a solution to a specific niche problem, and that's giving, I guess, for the sake of a better term, that's giving the industry a way to look at chatbots. A lot of people may think that it may be pricing things slightly different, but I think what it's doing is legitimizing chatbots because
I think so too.
you're gonna get popular adoption, and there's really no way to get growth in. Everybody's going to want to have their own little custom thing.
Yes, you
Right.
nailed it. And you know,
Yeah,
guys,
so
just so you
everybody
know,
can have the generic thing, but if people are still going to want their custom thing, and
yep,
those are the people who are going to appreciate great work. So if you came out and you just know a couple basic things, you know, versus somebody who knows a little bit more,
hmm
you know, the market will determine what happens. But ultimately,
always
I
does.
think, ultimately, I think that what you're doing is great. I think
I
there's
appreciate
going to
that,
be
man.
room for everybody, but
Oh, there is.
everybody else just to sit around and figure out a way to innovate and have more conversations like we do about what we can do, and just, yeah, it's not like a big flipping secret.
Let me tell you something, man. And you know, I don't know if she'll even watch this, but her name is Chantel. She's in one of the chat groups I'm in, chatbot groups, guys. And I'll tell you, she did a post and it struck me, and I think I had just opened my eyes, and I don't usually get up this early, believe me, because I'm usually up late. But she says in her post, it's 5 a.m. You know, group. Uh, who else is up? And there's like 9 people. Now, granted, our group members typically are all over the world in different time zones.
Yeah,
But man, this is my video games right here. Like, and it has been all year long. So I'm 30 years old, okay, and I have plenty of friends, younger and older than me, that when I'm doing this stuff with you and with other big companies and influencers and consultants, this is my fun. This is my pastime. If I had nothing to do all day, I would still do this in some capacity. I'm convinced, even if it was to make my life easier, right? This to me is this is it, and I'm glad to know you. You've inspired me. I'm so glad to have you on the second episode. I wish I could have got penciled in your busy schedule for you to be the first, but I would
okay, so
again.
that's how it's going with first.
Right. I do want to have you on recurring. We'll talk about it, and I'll check with the account and make sure we can do that. Work
No,
something
I
out.
mean, because I have like a whole other thing to talk about the apps that can be built
Yes.
inside of ManyChat.
And that I think we have to mention that. And you know what? I hit up, and I won't mention his name because I like this guy, and he is a mini chat like exec, I guess. I want to have him on the podcast, but you know, like for me, the platforms they're nothing really except a tool. They're a tool, just like a hammer is, just like a screwdriver is. They're a tool to use to get a job done. So I have chatbots on ManyChat and Silver, and obviously my own. For me, they're just tools, and they're useful in different ways. And I hope that the guy I invited will consider joining this podcast because he's super smart dude. I mean, very high up. This guy's he's a real deal, and I would have only people on this show that are the real deal, that are the OGs, that are going to wake up at 5 a.m. and go, that are going to stay up late and figure it out, that are, like VG says, and VG, sorry, I'm so used to it, like Vince says, search the groups and find out this information. And before you, in my opinion, take the lazy route and pay for some course from some guy, do your own research, and it's all there for you, as he says. And ask questions, and you might just get lucky and have someone like Mr. Vince here be the one to answer your question. So I think that it's probably time to go to bed, Ryan. I am so done. But man, I was not going to bed. When I had the chance to have you on, I said, whatever it takes. I'll be your last appointment of the night or morning. Let's do this.
Well, that's, and so this is, I was looking forward to this. I think it's something that, one last thing I'd like to add, like, there's bot builders, there's a lot of bot building companies, and there's a lot of people who get emotionally, religiously attached to bot building companies. I would say that there's enough business out there for everyone. And the second a bot building company indicates that that's not the case, by having people or people in it who don't understand act in a way that is the antithesis of that, is a leading indicator that there's a problem. And I think that there was a bit of a flare up maybe a couple months ago. But all in all, I think that most of these companies, if not all of these companies, are existing in the stasis because they're because I think they realize this business can grow. And let's face it, everyone is building this platform on top of Facebook Messenger.
That's it, baby. Okay, that's the real secret that we're not even talking about. You know, it's like we already know that the people that aren't in this space watching this, that get this far, God bless you, by the way, if you've gotten this far and you're not a chatbot builder. That's the secret sauce, man, that we all know that they don't even know. But I digress. Please continue.
Right. Yeah. So it's all built on one platform. And I think that the biggest thing is everyone has to learn that, like how everything is going to work together. And I think they focus on the best tool to get your work done and the best way to get your work done. And everyone has a bigger fish to fry in this game. But do your business, kind of figure it out. Don't get religious about it. It's a waste of energy. I think there is not one group, like I'm looking forward to doing what I had a client who called me up today. We launched an ad on SilverBots, and but the other day I got my ticket to the mini chat conference. I can't wait to go. I'm working with somebody. We built, like I said, we built 3 apps on mini chat. I wrote an article maybe a year ago on an athletic workout program we built on ChatFuel.
You've just been around, man.
But I mean, it was, and then and we built 2 SEO tools and 1 Facebook ads tool on ManyChat.
Listen, I'll be honest. I am super pumped to see what the ManyChat app space becomes, and it's because of people like you. Like, guys, do you know how lucky it is? I am so lucky to be on a podcast, episode number 2, with one of the first
not one
ever.
Okay,
number 2. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Just number. With a guy that's built how many? 3 apps on
I didn't build them by
myself.
I built them with some,
You told everybody what to do, right?
Yeah, it's really, probably one of the smartest developers out there. And
I have to know this person if I don't.
Which is, you
I probably do. Come on.
You probably do. But he's, but I think that what you've got out there is a really great community who wants to make beautiful, cool stuff. And there's
that right there is what that should be the title of this episode, man, because that's what we do really. we're all technical on this episode because I wanted to be, and you nailed it, Mr. Technical. I love it. This guy is the bot doctor guy, the engineer, the expert of automation right here. I'm so lucky to have you on this show.
Mhm.
I'm going to take it back and pretend like I wish I was Italian. I'm going to pretend I'm an Italian. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. VG Vince, we're going to have you on here again, and it will be consistently because these guys are going to have questions that I don't have any answers to. But again, thank you so much, bro, for coming onto the show. We're going to help you guys solve your chatbot problems to the best of our abilities, and I hope you guys enjoyed your time with Vince. So we'll have him on again soon, but I'll see you later, man. I really do appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. All right?
See ya. Guys, thank you again so much for joining me. I had a special ending here. I wanted to let you guys know why am I doing this. I literally have like zero time to be doing something like this, but it's important that I do it for several reasons, and I'm going to go over two reasons. And the first reason is opportunity. I was on the podcast yesterday, the first episode with AJ and and Leon. Obviously, Leon, you're the man. By the way, you sir, you're the man. And I don't know what caused me to check, but I did. I checked the domain, Google Domains, guys. Is what I use. Thank you, Jacob. By the way, Jacob, if you're watching this, thank you for always pointing me in the right direction. I checked Google Domains for the the chatbot available. I was like, okay, can I get lucky 2 times in a row back to back? Is the chatbot available? Both were available. Bought both. I was up super late last night, finishing some last little bit of client work. Attached a Squarespace domain to the chatbotpodcast.com, whipped up something really super quick, mostly because the template that was there was like just not who I am. It wasn't me, put it that way. And so the website's live, and I'm glad it is. And number one, I did it because it was available. And so if someone was to buy it from me, you probably know what I paid, $12 for the domain. Holler at me. Come at me with a number. You can totally buy that domain from me. But number two, we've got to stop thinking that what anyone else can do on this keyboard and this mouse here in front of me on this computer is any different than anyone else. And we've got to start sharing our expertise and information. And that's who I'm really looking for to come on this show. And believe me, it ain't to benefit me. I'm pumped to have at the table. Don't need any other bot builder necessarily, but other people do need knowledge and expertise. And it really bothered me the other day to read a post that someone made on Reddit in the chatbot space, because the chatbot space in Reddit is like 4,000 people, and that's it. And someone who I never saw, and I've been a member of the group for like 150 days, because that's how Reddit like tells you. I'm not a big user of that platform, but I'm everywhere. Don't worry, I'm everywhere. And on Reddit, this guy or gal, whoever, whatever, post the question, why does this feel like a marketing channel more than it does a chatbot channel? Like referencing why it's a help channel. Why aren't people helping each other? And so I replied, because I always watch and I always try to help. And I hope that anyone that watches this video, here's what I'd ask. If you've gotten this far, if you've ever asked me a question about chatbots or marketing in general, and I've helped you, just comment something below. I hope that I've helped you. But I digress. This person says, why does this feel like a marketing channel versus a chatbot channel on Reddit? And so I replied, I said, well, truthfully, I haven't seen anyone ask a question that hasn't been answered. And I think we have a problem in the community with people, quote, wanting to hoard information. That's stupid. Stupid. There ain't no way one person, one group of people, one agency is going to get all the business. Zero way that's possible. VG just said it. There's how many bot builders now? Chatfuel, Silverbots, Mobile Monkey, MiniChat, obviously, the biggest one if I haven't said that one already. There's a lot of them, okay? And that does tell us something, that there's a need for different platforms for different reasons. There's different needs there's so many business. There's millions of restaurants in the world, guys. There's so many. And so if I could get through to you guys and ask one thing, it's do something for someone else before you ask for one thing. What a concept, right? Before you ask for help from a Facebook group, from a person, literally, it don't work that way. Like, there's so much free information. I'm going to send you a let me Google that for you link. If you don't know what that is, they're really funny. Do something yourself. Try. And you will be surprised if you do try and still don't get it. That's fine. Then ask for help. It will make more sense when you get the help versus someone does something for you you don't understand. Now you have to ask 100 more people for help. Try for yourself. Search the group, just like VG said, and contribute back to the communities that taught you. And that's something that I regret not have done in the photography or social media or videography or just creative spaces other than chatbots, because I feel like I've dropped some bombs in this industry, at least in some of the groups I'm in. I feel that way. It could all be, in my head. But I regret learning so much from so many people, Tony Northrup, all these, Frono's Photos, all these huge influencers, aside from Gary Vee, none of them got none of my money. There's one chatbot person that I purchased the course, didn't actually get to look at said course, but I wanted to support the person because they've helped me so much. Start helping people, guys. That's what I'm going to end with. If you start being positive, and if you start helping people, and if you take the advice I just gave you, before you ask said person or group for some free advice, they let you in for free, didn't they? Before you ask them for advice, offer something of value to them, to someone. And I guarantee you, the majority of time, at least, you'll get back far more than you even expected. Don't be lazy. Laziness is the worst. In the chatbot game, if you're lazy, you're done. You're going to be ran around. Someone will run circles around you if you're lazy in this space. And as soon as you get cocky in this space, you're done. That pedestal, you're knocked off it. So I hope that, again, this is episode number 2. I got on a little soapbox here, but I guess reading too much into Reddit will do that. You'll never know those guys. Either way, everyone has a great opportunity who is interested in being in chat marketing and messenger marketing and chatbots. Now is the time to jump in if you're curious. And if you're curious and have questions, join groups. Facebook provides so many resources. If you still can't find the answer, feel free to hit me up. The inbox on Facebook, my profile, is flooded. I have so many message requests, I'm not sure what to do. I have to ask Kelly because I'm sure she's got the same problem. But I would love to help as many people as I possibly can. So thanks for watching, guys. Episode 2, it was fun. I hope you liked it. Episode 3 coming soon. Thanks so much for watching again. Peace.